So it's come up a couple times in a few of my videos. I wanted to just quickly go over my iPad setup for filmmaking. Every camera, every light, every device, sliders, gimbals, etc., they all have apps. Having a big screen to be able to control those apps and do certain things from, to me, is amazing and has become an essential part of my workflow on film shoots. So here is my stripped down iPad setup. I don't remember the exact model of iPad that this is, but it isn't the latest and greatest. I actually got one that was refurbished off of Amazon purely because I don't need all of the new features that come with a brand new iPad. I just needed the screen and I just need it to be compatible enough to run the apps that I have. In order to protect it, I threw that iPad into a thin rubber case. I threw a screen protector over the front, and then I bought this Accsoon Power Cage 2, which is this metal cage that you see all around the iPad. That does a couple things. It gives you mounting points to be able to throw handles onto the iPad. These are some fairly inexpensive side handles by this company called Camvate. For the price, these kick ass. I have a few sets of these for camera rigs and some other things, and they've served me well. They don't articulate into different orientations, but beyond that, for being a quick solution to throw a NATO rail handle onto the side of your iPad to have a, director's monitor. Oops, we put them on the wrong way. I did that on purpose to actually show how quickly you can take them on and off. You just slide them on, you crank this down, and boom, check it out. Director's monitor. Lighting control panel, ready to go. Let me grab a battery. These are the SmallRig NPF batteries. I've been really enjoying using them. I've used a lot of other cheap NPF batteries and I haven't had great luck with them. Number one, you can never tell how much charge is in them. So you'll run into the situation where you slap a battery onto your monitor, your light, or your iPad, and you go to turn on and nothing happens. So that's really annoying. And regular NPF batteries take forever to charge. SmallRig's version deals with all those frustrations. Number one, because you can push this little touch button and it literally displays your charge percentage on them, but they also charge through USB-C. So you take your battery, you have a battery plate on the back of your cage, slap it down, boom, we're charging. And now I can pull up Sidus Link and I can adjust all of my settings. You guys can get a little sense of my lighting setup here. Those are some practicals. I wasn't able to connect to my Flora, but normally I have that turned down. That's my backlight, which is a P60C. We have an MT Pro that's actually on the floor behind me that's just kind of filling in the rest. I have a 300D Mark II with the mini dome softbox with a control grid. And then in front of that, there's a 5-in-1 deflector that's flagging me off from that light. So as you can see, it's just purely giving a little bit of light to the table here. Behind me is a Amaran T4C, which is providing some backlight. It's giving me that hair light here. It's giving some backlight to the table. So I'll turn that on with the 300D. And my key light is actually an Aperture MC Pro with a bubble diffuser. It's kind of a weird setup, and I don't know why I love this bubble diffuser that Aperture made, but I just love it. It just looks so cool. And when I went to go create this YouTube setup, I pretty much just wanted an excuse to utilize this thing as a key light and just, throw it in the shot. And I don't know, what do you guys think? It's pretty difficult to set up a lighting setup when you're filming yourself, and it's not a situation I'm used to. I'm almost always behind the camera. And so a lot of my perfectionist brain wishes I could have done this setup differently, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. This is what I was able to come up with quickly for the space I have. I really love when I can being able to isolate each piece of the image and exposing for it and adjusting it and dialing it in precisely, and using all aperture lights, using an iPad with this control panel where I can set false color or another scope onto one of my monitors and just dial in each one of these lights once it's placed. to get the exact exposure I want. I absolutely love working that way. It really revolutionized the way I shoot and allows me to serve effectively on smaller crews and still be able to move quickly, just being able to work this way. So the other really common way I utilize the iPad for filmmaking is with this monitor control app from Sony. So as you can see here, I have all of my cameras hooked up. I'll just click connect to my top-down camera here, which is my Sony FX30, which I utilize a lot for top-down cameras. We'll click join. And if your camera is up on a boom pole or out of reach somewhere and you need to be able to control the settings, control the zoom level, whatever it is, this is a great way to be able to monitor it. I can see that we're rolling. I can tap for focus, which is amazing to be able to hand this to somebody. And then I can just utilize this to zoom in. Whoa, that's crazy. Whoa, I'm gonna have fun with that later. I utilize it a lot for photography, actually. I have an A7 IV, which is this camera over here, which I'll often set up to do product photography with. And just having the monitor control app or the creators app to be able to remotely trigger the shutter is awesome. So that's another way I utilize it. I also have a teleprompter, which I utilize with the iPad. The last way I'll utilize it is for wirelessly monitoring with the Accsoon transmitters. So the Accsoon transmitters that I have a couple of them, and they send out an iOS feed to a few different iOS devices. You essentially connect the iPad to that, and then you have a full host of monitoring features that you can utilize. So yeah, get yourself an iPad, throw it in a cage, throw handles on it. I also threw some NATO rails on the other side of this iPad, so I can monitor vertical video. The other thing is you can utilize these NATO rails to attach this to a light stand, a magic arm. I can hook this into multiple different configurations. So it's just super functional on set. The iPad never has to die. It's being fed off of this NPF battery. When the NPF battery dies, the iPad is still going to be at 100%. And then you just swap out your NPF battery, have a couple of those charging as you go, and you pretty much have continuous unlimited power wherever you are. So I'll show you guys this as well. Here's the bonus. How do I carry all of this? The handles go into my director's monitor kit, which has a bunch of other fun things I utilize with my 7-inch Atomos if I want just a dedicated director's monitor with some of the functionality that the Atomos gives us. So I love cases. I love high quality cases, and I have cases and organization solutions for pretty much everything that I own. This is by far my favorite iPad case. It is a TomTalk iPad case, super plush inside, which is amazing. The corners where you put your iPad into have something that they have branded as corner armor, which is essentially they're just reinforced and have a rubbery, stiffer texture to them. So the way that this works is pop off your battery, and then you just slide your iPad right into it. Fits perfectly. Zip this thing up, and it is super padded. You throw this over your shoulder. Just a great case for an iPad in general, and also has another pocket. What do we keep in here? Looks like we have some extra lightning cables. And the other thing I keep in here is this other Accsoon Cineeye 2 transmitter. This guy pretty much is the same thing as this version, except that this one only transmits out to iOS devices. So if I purely am going to be using my iPad as my director's monitor and the only external monitor on a project, I only need to utilize this smaller unit, which is a lot lighter, also has an NPF battery attachment, can go onto one of my rigs, but it doesn't have a receiver the same way that the Cineeye 2 Pro does. So yeah, they're pretty cool. I really like them, so I ended up just buying both, and I utilize both. Especially when you're getting into doing multicam stuff, you're gonna need a couple different versions of pretty much everything. This just slides into my car just like this and pretty much goes on every single shoot with me. So there you have it. That's my iPad setup. If you like videos like this and wanna see more, please consider subscribing. Check out the other videos on my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.